The Fae realm was supposed to be safe for humans. Yet here I was, backed into a corner facing 3 snarling males. My heart hammered out of control, and my messenger bag hung heavily from my shoulder. It was full of the healing ingredients I'd bought at Yalgren's Wares a moment ago, supplies I couldn't get back home. Just a few hours ago, I'd left my condo in St. Louis, walked to Forest Park from my house on Art Hill Ave, and traced my transfer rune on the wooden railing of Steinberg Bridge. The Fae rune was a symbol assigned only to me, which granted me passage to Elfheim, specifically to a trading post in the small, bustling town of Farrowen, a town I'd visited safely 1,000 times. But now, in front of me was the evidence that the sense of security I'd felt during my previous visits was as false as my Nana's teeth. If only I'd sensed something was wrong, I might have returned home and wouldn't be facing the chilling looks of the 3 very tall, very buff Fae who were eyeing me as if I was about to become their next meal. Suddenly, I felt as if I were in no man's land and not the fairyland that maintained a diplomatic relationship with my realm. "What do you want?" I demanded as my back hit the wall behind me. They didn't respond. I tried to run out of the tightening circle they'd formed, but the male to my right, a Fae whose pointed ears were quite visible thanks to his platinum blonde cropped hair, blocked me. "I'll scream if you don't let me pass," I threatened. The male on the left smirked. He had skin the color of mahogany and eyes like warm honey. His face was framed by a couple of long braids that fell from his otherwise short, coiled hair. A glint in his gaze told me no one would help me, no matter how loudly I screamed. I cast a glance through the gap between my assailant's muscled arms and caught a glimpse of a woman on the other side of the street. She had paused and was looking at me, as if I deserved whatever was coming my way. Really? Why? Did she think I was a troublemaking human? Was I? Maybe I'd inadvertently done something wrong, committed some faux pas I wasn't aware of. I mentally retraced my steps since I'd arrived and couldn't find anything. After tracing my rune on the bridge, I appeared in a quaint tavern at one of the many tables assigned for that purpose. Appearing and disappearing wasn't exactly what happened. No one could really do that. What the rune did was break the membrane between one realm and the other, transferring one's reality to a Fae location that occupied the same time and space. It was all very technical, and I'd learned all about it in high school, though I'd forgotten most of it. Healing magic was my jam. Mages like my brother, Leo, could concern themselves with those other details. It was early on a Saturday morning, and the tavern had been buzzing with an assortment of skews, which was what humans with no supernatural abilities were called back home. Not that the Fae used those terms. To them, there was the Fae, and then there was everybody else. The point was that the tavern was crawling with people from my realm, as well as the Fae servers who worked there. I got up from the table where I'd appeared. They were supposed to be left empty to allow others to transfer by using their own runes, and took a seat at a small round table for one. A slight Fae, thin as a rail, rushed toward. "May I serve you, respectable lady?" he asked in a lilting accent. He wore a green tunic with carved buttons and cropped brown pants. His bare feet were stuffed in thin leather shoes that molded to him perfectly. 2 small horns protruded from his forehead, and a garland of wildflowers rested on them. "Good morning, Aben Sanael," I said, calling him respectable sir in return. "I would like a cup of jasmine tea and a honeyed bun with goat cheese." He inclined his head. "Serving you is my pleasure. You won't have to wait but a minute." In seconds, he was back with my breakfast, which I'd enjoyed immensely, though it was now souring in my stomach.